Everybody, I'm Tim Bulot. Welcome to episode 11 of Training to Survive. We're still coming at you with a show filmed in 1996 for cable television, and we're kicking off episode 11 tonight, season 2. So what's our plan for season 2? Let's get right into it and discuss this. So in season 1, we released a show every week for 10 weeks straight, okay? Season 2, we're going to space those out a little bit more. We're still going to do a 10-show block, but we're going to space them out a little bit more and just kind of release them when they're ready instead of holding it now to a set time. The reason why is, number one, is the amount of time that it takes with my other activities going into it. As you watch tonight's show, I want you to note the clarity of the segments in the show. Okay, all the instructional segments have been completely re-edited. I've gone back and pulled those camera masters, and I've recaptured that footage and digitized it, upscaled it to high definition, and I think you'll really be able to see a difference on this. That takes time, okay? And for me, I'm a stickler for the quality. I'm not satisfied with just making a copy of the old original masters, because there's already a generation loss there. So I'm digitizing the footage and putting more time into it. Another reason the views aren't what we need them to be. I need those views to go up, and here's what's going on with that, okay? For those of you that know me, y'all know that at Weapons Academy we teach firearms and tactics and tactical training, things of that nature. That makes me a gun guy, and because I'm a gun guy, I get somewhat censored. We don't get any help from the search engines because they don't like us, just because of the nature of what we do, okay? So the only way to defeat that is for you guys to like, subscribe, and share, and to get our numbers up by word of mouth. Now, the experts tell me once it gets to a certain point that the search engines will kick in, and then we'll spread like we used to spread before out amongst the internet world before we started putting gun videos on our channel, okay? So I need your help with that. So what we're looking at is a new show every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on my availability to edit and shoot, okay? So we're still going to keep it coming. There's way too much footage to put this thing in the closet, so let's get going. Tonight's show, we've got a great lineup. We're going to kick this off with our martial arts video archives. We've got Master Larry Tatum, who often visited the show back in the 90s. I filmed when I was out in California some shorts for the show, and he's going to come at us tonight with just how to employ some Kenpo concepts into basic self-defense, some easy to learn, easy to utilize concepts. From there, we're going to go to the gym. We're going to work on some stretching with Rodell and Brenda. Officer Rick is going to take us through a crime prevention spot tonight. On the mat, we've got kick defense, okay, as we work one of our classic Kenpo techniques, and we're going to beef it up a little bit to work on a more sophisticated attack. And then to wrap things up, we've got a section of modern martial arts tonight as we go to Denton, Texas to visit Mr. Mark Redding as he takes us through a spot on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So it's, all in all, we got a great lineup tonight to kick off season 2. Let's get going.
Push your ankle, and then right back in. Start flexing the hips, lock it and get it. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Hi everybody, I'm Tim Bulot, the owner and the head instructor of the Academy of Kenpo Karate located right here in Irving, Texas. Welcome to another exciting edition of Training to Survive. We've got a great lineup for you today with something in our program for the entire family. So get ready for it and let's get started.
Hello, I'm Larry Tatum, and I'm speaking to you from my headquarters school in Pasadena, California. You know, self-defense has been a very integral part of my lifestyle for about 30 years. I started when I was a young teenager, and today it's a part of all of our lifestyle. And one of the most important things as we seek ways to defend ourselves and our loved ones, we want to seek the most practical form of self-defense that we can. Using stun guns, using mace and so forth are weapons that can work, but generally, you know, there's things that we don't carry with us or that we care to carry with us because they seem to offend our friends or it's something we have to carry and load around, this type of thing. Your best self-defense is yourself and knowing how to deal with a situation quickly. When I teach my students, I teach them not only how to do the physical self-defense techniques, but I teach them how to assess the situation and use the most practical technique to fit an encounter in the street. With the help of Gene, I'm going to demonstrate some easy techniques that I know that you can do that if you just practice daily, they'll work well for you. Okay, Gene, come on up. You know, when people think that they're going to be attacked, in many cases they'll put up their hands or they'll offer some type of posturing which will only telegraph or tell their opponent that they're about ready to do something. Now, depending upon where you're standing, if I thought this gentleman was going to hit me and my hands were just here and I was maybe scratching myself or whatever, I may use a back knuckle strike because my hands were just in that position. Now, a back knuckle is not a difficult weapon for you to use, and it can be launched very quickly. If I'm just folding my hands like this, it's basically concealed. It's kind of an ambiguous stance. But as I'm standing there and he reached for me, before his hands got up, okay, that could have hit his temple, that could have been a finger whip to the eye, it could have been a chop to the throat. So if you use a back knuckle, these are the back of your knuckles. If you use the edge of your hand, it's still the same motion. I'm just changing weapons to fit the situation. Now obviously if it's some drunk who's just bothering you and doesn't really mean you a whole lot of harm, and he may grab your shoulder, just a quick flick to the throat with your fingers may be just enough for him to gasp and grab his throat and stay away from you. That same motion can be down to the groin area as well. But if the situation warranted, if an opponent raised his hand ready to punch you, like Gene's doing, it may be more wise to use the edge of your hand to the throat and then maybe a back knuckle to the ribs. Okay, now you can move very quickly when you're executing these techniques. I have a whole set of tapes that I offer on another infomercial. Look for them and they'll give you even more information about this. Gene, I want to say thank you for your help, okay? My advice to you is that as you look for the most practical form of self-defense, look for something that you feel is going to work the best for you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rodell Bird.
My name's Brenda White.
And we're going to be discussing a method of stretching today. Now basically, there are 3 ways that you can stretch and get better flexibility. First way is called static stretching. Second way is called ballistic stretching, which can be a little bit dangerous really for advanced people. We're going to talk about a third way to stretch, and it's kind of fun, and it's called partner-assisted stretching. We're going to demonstrate a couple of stretches that you can try at home. All that you need is a safe area in which to stretch in. You don't want a whole lot of hard objects around or anything that you might lose your balance or fall against, and you have someone who's willing to stretch with you. Brenda's going to help me out here. The first one we're going to do is a stretch that will help improve your front kick, particularly for those of us who are in martial arts. What I'm going to get Brenda to do is, first off, I'm going to ask her to give me her left hand, okay, to support it. And she's going to step into kind of a neutral bow stance with her foot forward, with your other foot forward, if you would. There you go, okay? And I just want you to do a simple front snap kick, and she's going to rest the heel in my hand, okay? Now, from this point, I've got her balanced here, okay? I've got the opposite foot in my hand, okay? And what we're going to do is we're simply going to raise the foot up. Okay, and I've got basically the foot in the web of my hand, and we come up. Now, you've got to coordinate with your partner when you do these stretches. She's got to tell me when she feels just a moderate discomfort. You don't want big, great, agonizing pain when you stretch. That's a sure way to get an injury. Just moderate discomfort. So we go up, and she'll tell me when she feels moderate discomfort. Okay, right there she feels some moderate discomfort. Now, if you want to, you can even take this foot and kind of rest it on your shoulder there, okay, so you don't get too tired. You doing all right? Mm-hmm. Okay, now what I want you to do is hold this stretch for about 5 seconds. Now I want you to tense up and try to pull your toe back to your head, okay, for 15 seconds. She's giving even more of a stretch here and also kind of an isometric workout as she goes on, okay? We'll hold that for about 10 to 15 seconds. We'll abbreviate it here, okay, relax. And I'm going to push it up a little bit more and tell me again when you feel moderate discomfort.
Right there.
Good. You see how high she's got that kick? That's really up there, okay? And we'll hold it again for 10 to 15 seconds. And we'll let it go back down, okay? So that's for a front kick. We could also switch and do the other leg, put your other leg forward. And that would be done in this manner, okay, as we go up, okay? That's one way that you can stretch and get those front kicks better. Let's work another stretch. We're going to work right now is we're going to work a stretch which will help improve your side kick. And that's really an important kick because this is one of those kicks, as you know, where you've got to torque that hip to get it around and get your kick in. And so this will help improve your flexibility here. Brenda, if you could stand with me with your left side facing toward me, okay? And we're going to take this hand, okay? Now, put your left hand in kind of a Kenpo checking position with the guard up. There you go. Okay, now, it's important that when you do this stretch, particularly if you're trying to improve your side kick, that you form your weapon just as you would do the side kick if you were actually executing the kick to a target. So form your weapon, the blade of the foot, and put it right here in my ribs. Now, different people have different amount of flexibility, okay? Some people you can raise this up a little bit on, and notice I've got the hand here for balance. Some people you drop it down, okay? But for her, we're going to start right here. Now, I want you to straighten the leg out. There you go. Now, turn your heel up, toes down. There you go. Now, be ready to kind of point your resting heel toward me when we actually do the stretch, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just rock slightly backward. This stretch is very effective, and you can cause some serious injury here if you don't listen to your partner. So we're just going to rock slightly backward here. You ready? Okay, and I'm going to rock, and she's going to tell me when she feels a moderate stretch in her leg.
That's good.
Okay, and she's feeling that stretch mostly in her back leg. Now she can even get more of a stretch if you turn your resting heel toward me. There you go, okay. Feel more of a stretch there, more flexibility?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here we go, a little bit more. Ready? Mm-hmm. And we stretch.
That's good.
Good, okay, right there. Now, tighten your resting leg and hold it for 10 to 15 seconds. Very good. And relax. And we're going to ease her right on back down. Bend your knee and back down. Really good stretch to help improve those side kicks, okay? Let's do another stretch, okay? Well, this one we get a chance to sit down on the floor. Why don't you sit facing right this way and just have a seat on the floor. Now, what I want you to do is put the soles of your feet together so that they're facing each other, okay? This is what they generally call a butterfly stretch because of the shape of the knees here. And grab the blades of your feet and simply use your elbows and push your knees down to the ground. Good. Now, some people have more flexibility here than others do. Some folks are able to take their legs and push them all their knees all the way down to the ground. If so, that's good. But for some of us more limited folks, this is a good stretch for us to work. Okay? Now, this is the partner-assisted portion here. I'm going to come behind and I'm going to push, just give you some moderate pressure down on the knees. Okay? When you feel moderate discomfort again, let me know.
Okay.
And here we go. Pushing down on the knees.
That's good.
Okay, right there. So we just hold it. Okay. 10 to 15 seconds, and we're going to go a little bit further. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
And here we go.
That's good, right
Okay,
there.
right there. And your partner should let you know when they feel moderate discomfort. Another 10 to 15 seconds, and we'll release. Very good. Okay, and if you'll stand up. Now we'll do one more exercise here. If you would, let's get you sit right here. And if you could turn this way to me, kind of at an angle. I'll tell you what, let's go at this angle here. Kind of at an angle here, okay? And just have a seat.
Okay.
Okay. We're both going to sit down. I want you to spread your legs out as far as you can. There you go. You get a nice good stretch there. You see, she's already got a pretty good stretch there, okay? But we're going to take that stretch and make it even a little bit further. Okay, I'm going to sit inside of her, and it's very important that the placement of my feet be against her ankles, okay, or against the inner calves. It's also equally important that I have my knees in a position where my knees are bent, and this way I can help improve the stretch, okay? Now from this position, I'm going to take hold of Brenda's hands, okay, and we're simply going to kick these legs out some, okay? Now again, any partner-assisted stretch, the reason you're using a partner is because a partner can take you beyond your usual range of motion, okay? That can open up the area for injury. So you don't want to cause injury. Talk to your partner and communicate. Watch your partner's expression as you go along. That'll tell you more than anything about when they're reaching their range of motion. You ready? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to push out on both of her legs here. And she's getting a pretty good spread. And you can scoot up a little bit if you find that you've reached that range of motion. Okay, tell me when.
That's good.
Good, okay. And we're going to hold that for a little while. Now we're going to do something that'll add to that stretch, okay? Ready? We've got our hands here. Mm-hmm. I'm going to pull her forward and kick out just a little bit more. Tell me when it's good.
That's good.
That's good? Okay. Well, let's ease up a little bit because that looks like maybe a little bit too much. Okay? And we're going to hold it here for 10 to 15 seconds and ease it on up. There you go. And relax it. Good. And back up. Very good. Okay, one of the things that you can do when you do these exercises, once you're finished, you can kind of shake it out, get the joints working again, get the synovial fluid flowing through the joints, and if you find that it's a very good workout for you, a very good stretch, very good way to improve your flexibility. Well, that's all we're going to talk about. Try those stretches out when you have the opportunity, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, I'm Officer Rick Cutler. Back again with you this week to provide you another crime prevention tip. This week we're going to be focusing on reducing the risk of sexual assault. And anytime you're at home, let's make sure all the doors, windows, sliding glass doors, and any way into the house is secure. If we do not do that, that is just inviting an attacker into our house. Let's make sure when we're at home, let's not give anybody the impression that we're there by ourselves. If you receive a telephone call from a stranger or a stranger comes to the front door, let's make them think that somebody else is there with us, and under no circumstances do you ever need to let a stranger into your home. If you do come home and you find a door, a window, or anything else open, whether if it's forced entry or it's just slightly ajar, that should be your key. Back up, go to the nearest phone and call the police department. Do not investigate this yourself. Call the police department, have them come check it out. That's what we get paid for. That's our crime prevention tip of the week. Enjoy the rest of the show, and see you next time.
Hi everybody, I'm Tim Bulot and welcome to On the Mat, our instructional portion of Training to Survive. And this week we're going to teach you how to deal with a kick attack. And I've got two of my assistants, I've got Sarah and Brian. Come on in, that's going to help us out today. Now starting out, before we get right into the self-defense technique, just to tell you a little bit about how people kick on the street. You know, here on the TV show and in the studio, you see us doing a lot of fancy roundhouse kicks and side kicks and things of that nature and so forth. But Brian, if I could borrow you here, out on the street, people tend to have the tendency to kick just like you were if you were kicking a football out on the field or just trying to kick an object out of the way, because they don't have the type of training that we get in martial arts. So they just swing their leg straight in, okay, just like so. Okay, so that's what we're going to stick with today, is just a straight right front kick. Okay, now the first technique that we're going to teach you is going to start with you somewhat in a ready position. You've got an idea that you've got a hostile aggressor in front of you, and you're going to start, you know, with your hands up like, hey, take it easy. So if we would assume this position, guys, okay, and we're kind of somewhat in a defensive mode already because this individual, you know, causing a problem, maybe they're sizing us up and down, whatever the case, we're kind of getting ready. And they're going to step in and they're going to do our kick. So what I want y'all to do first is we're going to take our right leg and we're going to drop back into our right neutral bow stance, and we're going to do a downward block. Now, if the camera's at 12 o'clock, if people at home are watching from 12, we're going to step back to 8 o'clock as we block to the outside of this leg. So let's do this together and move. Okay, keep this left hand up, guarding and checking. Good. And move. And one more time. And move. Good. Now, what I'm going to have y'all do is I'm going to have them pair up, okay, if y'all would face off. And we're going to just go through it step by step, one kick at a time, and follow along at home. You're going to see how easy it is to pick up and learn these techniques. So Brian's going to fire the first kick, and Sarah, you're going to drop back and execute just the block, and go. Good. Okay, y'all trade that back and forth. Work that a few times. Good. Keep that hand guarding and checking. Be sure and step back 45 degrees to 8 o'clock. Good. And fire one more, Sarah. Now freeze right there, okay? Now, the reason Brian's stepping back on 45 degrees, okay, because if Sarah comes and say she swings with the left hand, turn back like you're going to back knuckle him, okay, he's furthest out of range. Had Brian been step up here, had been more in this angle, he'd been easier to strike. Okay, go back to your position. Had he been more around towards me, he's closer in range. Raise his hand up, Sarah, like you're going to punch. He's closer in range to this weapon. Okay, good. Come on back up. So working off at 45 degrees allows us what we call a zone of sanctuary, okay? It takes us out at a safe angle and keeps us furthest away from both of our attackers' weapons, okay? All right, guys, let's go on to the next move, okay? Let's step back or drop back, shuffle out of the way, and do our block. And now, okay, we've blocked our opponent out, and his hands tend to drop with that, so we're going to shuffle back in, and we're going to check right at his elbow. Okay, let's do that, shuffle in and check, and then we're going to add an inward elbow of our own. So if we're going to do the check and the elbow simultaneously. And this inward elbow can go up to the face, the jaw, or whatever target's available there. So let's walk it slow and easy by the count. 1, shuffle back and block. Now we're going to shuffle in on 2 and check and keep the right hand moving and use the elbow. Again, ready? 1, 2. Good, ready? And 1, 2. Good, one more, let's put a little power into it, guys. Ready? 1, 2. Good. All right, let's face off. Okay, Sarah, I'm going to have you fire the kick first this time. Okay, Brian, I want you to do just the block only. Okay, go ahead. Block. Now, before you shoot that elbow, I want you to shuffle in and check. Okay, shuffle in and check. Okay, now you need to pay special attention to this because if he fires the elbow without a check, there's no guarantee on where this arm's going to go. Okay, now put the elbow in there. All right, good. Now take the check down like you left it out. Leave the elbow up. Okay, now Sarah hit him in the ribs there. You can see that arm is unprotected, and just instinctively, okay, out of her own fright, out of reaction to getting hit, if we don't have the check in there, put the check back in, Brian. Okay, there's no guarantee that that elbow is not going to fly. Okay, all right, let's work the technique back and forth. Okay, go ahead. Good, check and elbow, nice. Okay, keep it going. Good. Okay, let's put a little ki in there. Put some energy in there. Good. Okay, and Brian. Okay, good. Now I'm going to keep them working this. You guys practice on it at home, and when we come back, we're going to add a punch to it. Okay, back and forth. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that first technique because we're going to take that same technique and we're going to build on it. Now, in this situation, our attacker is going to step in. They're going to fire the kick, and when they planche, they're going to add a punch to the end of it, and so forth. Okay, watch it again. The attackers are going to come in. They're going to kick and plant with a punch, which is more than likely going to go to the face. Okay, now let me show you what it looks like as I demonstrated on Sarah here. She's going to fire the kick, and I shuffle back. She plants, shoot the punch, and that check becomes a parry, and we shoot the elbow down here to the ribs. Okay, watch it again. All right, I step back, I block, parry the arm, and slip the elbow. Okay, all right, guys, let's learn it. Okay, now we're standing somewhat in a natural posture. We've got our hands up. Remember, we're geared up and ready for the attack. So they kick, we shuffle back, going back to 8 o'clock. Do your block. Okay, now the hand that was checking that elbow, now give me an inward parry with it. Just guide that punch off to the right, shuffle in, and slip your elbow. Okay, come on back up. Ready? 1, block, parry, and elbow. Again. Block, parry, and elbow. Okay, good. Let's do that a little bit quicker. Ready? And move. Good. Ready? And move. Good. Okay, if I could have y'all face up right here. Okay, Brian, I'm going to have you kick first. We're going to do just the kick. Sarah, I want you to step back and do just the block. Follow along. We're going to take it one step at a time, show you how easy it is to learn this, okay? Fire the kick. Okay, now she's going to block. At this position, Brian recovers a little bit quicker than we expect, so he's going to shoot the punch, and the hand, the left hand, parries it off now. Here's your shot, Sarah, right there to the ribs. Nice, nice. Okay, let's do it again. Sarah, you're going to kick Brian this time, okay? Drop back. Shoot the punch as he parries it off and hit. Now, I want you to notice, if you can look down here, just hold this up. Look how the back of his leg is checking the back of hers also. Because remember I told you how strikes tend to occur unexpectedly during a confrontation. Well, this leg protects him from Sarah trying to raise her foot up and fire a kick of her own. Okay, good. All right, let's work it back and forth. Let's do the kick, pause, shoot the punch, and then the elbow. Break it down slow and easy. Brian, you fire the kick first. Okay, go. Punch and good. Okay, Sarah kicks. Good. Okay, one more, slow and easy. And one more for Brian. Okay, let's face the front. Okay, now we're going to do it all in one action, okay? Okay, guys, so let's drop back. Let's execute our block here. Now we're going to simultaneously shuffle, boom, and shoot that elbow. Okay, we're going to go to a 2 count, okay? So we go 1 and 2. Good. Come on back up. Ready. 1, 2. Again. Ready. 1, 2. Okay, good. All right, face off. Okay, Brian, I'm going to have you kick first. Kick, punch. Okay, but let's start slow, but let's take the dead spots out of it, okay? Let's fire it in there, okay? And go. Good. Nice. Okay, Sarah, fire one at Brian. Good. Okay, speed it up gradually. Work it. Good. Okay, let's do a good one. Okay, let's fire it in there. Let's go. Good. Let's add our ki eyes. Okay, one more each. Add a ki eye. Let's do it. Good, good. All right. Very good. Very nice, guys. Y'all starting to feel a little comfortable with that, so looks good. Okay. All right, as you can see, we started step-by-step process. Not a big deal, but you can see what the end results are if you put things together in the correct order. I've enjoyed it. That's self-defense against the kick. Work on it, and we'll see you on the next segment. In this next section, we're going to take a look at some of our instructors in action. And what you're going to see is Kenpo on the advanced side. And I want you to watch the hands and the feet as they continue to move. Watch these guys keep working until they get the job done. Now Now in this next section, you're going to see some footage from a belt exam. Here at the Academy of Kenpo Karate, we do testing on an individual basis, and here we have Gary and Byron, two law enforcement officers, testing for their yellow belts after about 2 months.
Commands. I want to see some energy, all right? All right, street speed. Let's go, Gary. Sort of destruction. Good, good. All right, Gary, Byron, switch out. All right, same combination. Terry, we're going to start with mace of aggression.
Good. Okay, guys, give me 2.
Sword of destruction.
Come on. Come on.
Attacking mace. All right, one more time. Let's speed it up just a little bit. Let's hear some verbals, guys. There you go. All right, street speed. Are you ready? Let's go. Move. Let's talk, man. Good. Good job. All right, let's get him. Verbals. Verbals. Energy. Good. 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 Gary, Byron, swap out. Hey, let's go. Let's get him. Verbals. Verbals. Good. Good. Looking good. All right. Let's go street speed. Let's give him some energy. Let's get on him. Ready? Go.
Come on. Come on. Hey, come on. Hey. Come on. Come on.
Good. Good job. Good job. All right, take a break. Gary, you're up. Let's bump him.
Come on. Go. Hey, yeah. Come on, man. Come on. Let's go.
As you saw throughout the exam, Gary and Byron defended against a number of different situations, multiple attackers, aggressive attackers, and this is only with 2 months of training, so everybody started out as a beginner, and you can see that just in a short period of time with martial arts training, you're defending against a variety of situations. Now here during the actual promotional part of the ceremony, we take a minute to discuss some of the values and benefits of the martial arts with the students and how training in this fashion can help in everyday life. Little congratulations here, and a round of applause.
Okay guys, we're going to work some strategies from the lapel grab on jiu-jitsu techniques, okay? We're going to look at some loop choke series and kind of into the ground positioning, all right? So Steve, if you don't mind coming out. So what we're going to deal with here is that our opponent's grabbing the collar, all right? We're going to grab the collar as well, but before we do that, we need to clear this grip, all right? So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I grab this sleeve, I'm not pushing straight back, okay? Because that could potentially get me taken down. So what I want to do is control with my left hand, and my right hand is just going to push this across the body. So I'm going to go to my left side. Once I do that, if you notice my hands, they turn, I'm punching that hand down to him, okay? Sometimes with the belt, sometimes with the thigh, but I want to kind of pin that to my opponent. My right hand now is going to grab the closest collar, which is here. I don't want to go too deep because we're going to go for the choke and sometimes your hands will get stuck. So I want to be a little bit loose. So when I shuffle back, I give him a little bit of a pull, and notice his head starts to drop. So my right arm now is going to come under the chin, and look at my right side of the hip. It's going to place next to his right ear. Okay, so I'm heavy on that side. Look at my stance too. I'm not standing straight open to an opponent. I'm turned a little bit. It's not necessarily sprawl, but I am being pretty heavy on him, so it's harder for him to look for his takedown. Okay, so now at this position, I'm going to cut the angle. So my left foot's going to turn to the side, so that way I can take my shot and go through the legs. And my head will go between the arm and the thigh, not in front. So what that looks like slow motion here is I drop my left knee to the ground. Notice my right hand is still on the neck. My left hand is going to reach for the far foot, or you can grab the pants. I usually just grab for the foot. Now watch my left knee. It's just going to sit out as I pull my elbow to my side. And that's the finish for the choke. I hold the leg so he can't roll out of the position. All right, let's look at a couple different angles of that. Okay, so as the opponent grabs, I'm breaking this across. I'm pinning that to the hip, and my lead hand, which is my right hand, is grabbing the lapel. my right side is forward. Notice that. So I want to do a little shuck. So my left foot steps, my right foot follows. I give him a little bit of pull there. Notice his head stays low. So there's that loop. If you have this too tight right here, you're gonna struggle getting that loop because your hand's gonna be across his neck. So I wanna make sure that I go loose enough so that his head or his chin fits right inside that hole. Look where his head's at, it's under my arm. Okay, my hip now places next to that so he can't just pull his head out. Okay, turn this way just a little bit for me. So now as I go, watch my left knee. It drops to the ground and I'm on this line that all I do is just reach through and grab the back ankle. Sit through and pull. I'm pulling my elbow to my side. Okay, one more angle here. All right, so I'm breaking this grip, hitting it, and shucking them back. Notice I just lean up over and my hip just rests on their side. And don't be in a rush here because it's not as easy just to pull your head out of that position. All right, I'm gonna cut to the angle. So look at my left foot, it kind of steps up and my head goes in between this thigh and the arm. Straight down. His leg is gonna be right there. Just grab that and sit through. Okay guys, let's look at a second sequence to this series off of them grabbing the lapel, okay? Sometimes, like this is pretty common, we're breaking this grip and we're controlling, but sometimes we come out and we just get a hold and the person has the same grip that you have, all right? So you have a couple options here. I like to be able to pull the lapel out. It doesn't really seem like that much is going on at this point. The person's not trying to defend that. It's a lot easier to get that now than once you get on the ground. So I like to have that lapel. Okay, then I may break the grip and switch back to the lapel. And notice when I do that, I go high and then I slide low onto the end of the lapel, all right? So what I need to do is I want to pull him to get him to step with this right foot. My right side is forward right now, but I switch it and pull until my left side goes forward. All right, and when I do that, it's just like the floor drops out underneath you. I'm gonna fall on my left knee, and when I fall, notice where my hips are at. They're not like falling over to the side or leaning forward this way. My hips, my shoulders, everything is in line with my opponent, okay? I still have the lapel. So I'm gonna take this lapel, and I'm gonna pass this across the thigh. When I do that, I'm just gonna grab and control the back of the ankle. I'm not pulling the ankle, I'm putting all the weight onto Steve's right side. Okay, so when I do that, it doesn't take much, just give a little push and the person will fall. Okay guys, once we get them to this position, you can notice my posture. I'm not, once I take them down, so high that my arm is here available for the person to take my back. I'm kind of sitting back in a range, so I have the ankle, my hand's here, and I'm safe. All right, so what normally happens when you take someone down like this, they try to recompose their guard. So Steve comes in, notice he's trying to lock my leg. All right, I'm not giving him the back position. My arm's here to be able to block him from sitting up. But look at the way he's grabbing my leg. He kind of locks down and controls in this position. All right, so the first thing, ideally, what we want to do is smash this person and keep them flat and start working to get out of the position. But Steve's a little more experienced in that, so he's not going to let me just smash him. But I have to deal with this leg that is in this half guard. You have to clear this. And what I mean by clearing this is my knee has got to come above his thigh. If I start trying to escape too soon, I can possibly get swept, maybe armbarred, my back taken, and I don't want that to happen. So an easy way, a really efficient way to get this knee out without you getting swept is I take my left knee, I post it on the ground. You can frame the person, you can control the wrist, your choice, kind of however you feel with it. And I'm gonna put my right hand on the hip and I'm just pushing my knee until it comes up, okay? Once that knee comes up, I drop it to the ground. You're not gonna just get out of the position. The person's gonna hold on, but now they have just the ankle. Okay, so now I'm in a sitting position on top of the thigh, all right? So we still are not cleared from the position, but we need to be able to escape this. So what do? We don't want to get swept, so my left hand controls the collar, and I put a strong cross face on. It's really important to take Steve's body and turn him to the side. So I want to put his head one direction. I want to make sure my knee is going the opposite direction. So I stay tight on the lapel. I put my knee to the ground, and I'm going to take my right hand, and I'll switch the angle in a minute. You can see I'm pulling up on the skirt of the uniform. So I'm turning his head, pulling the head up, and I use my left foot to assist. I kick the leg free, I walk back to kill the hips, and now I have a good side control position. Just look at this from a different angle so you can see where my body's coming at. So if I take him and I have this lapel, this is the ending from the takedown. So I've got the lapel, I've got the angle, my hand's here, and the person slides in to regain their guard, okay? So I have to get this knee free. Look how low it is down here. And this is a great thing about this technique. The stronger he is, it doesn't mean that you can't get your leg out. It actually helps me. So when I post my knee to the ground, post my hand on the wrist or the neck, this hand right here, hold as tight as you can. Look, it's easy to pull my knee up. There's no work there for me, okay? My knee goes over the thigh. I sit on top of him, so I'm controlling my position. And then I go for my cross face. So my left hand is going to the collar, okay? My right hand goes to the skirt or the bottom of the pants, okay? So I'm pulling this up and I'm turning the head this direction. Okay, you may look like I'm off balance, but the pressure from the cross face and my left foot on the thigh off balances that. So I can kick this leg free, and notice when the leg is free, I don't slide through. I walk back to kill the person's hips. Now look how flat he is. Now I can stabilize and control good from side control. Okay guys, let's look at this a little more live speed from the lapel. Okay, so he comes up and grabs. Okay guys, let's put this together from the lapel to the takedown and a little more live speed. Okay, next angle. One more time, this angle here. One more time, this angle here. Okay guys, that concludes our section on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and modern martial arts. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions or would like to come visit the school, please feel free to stop by at Reading Martial Arts in Denton, Texas, or you can visit us on our website at readingmartialarts.com. Our phone number is 940-891-6000. Thank you guys.
Our question for the week was sent in by one of our viewers who asked, I don't hang out in bad places, I don't go to bars, why should I learn martial arts? Why should I learn to defend myself? And I've got basically two good answers for that question. The first answer is, based on my experience as a police officer, most victims of crimes didn't know they were fixing to be attacked. They didn't know they were in a place where an attack could occur. So you never can tell where danger lurks. The second answer is, and this is one that kind of gets swept under the carpet from time to time, but we're gonna drag it out and we're really gonna hit on it here, is that the benefits of martial arts training go way beyond self-defense, way beyond fighting. As a matter of fact, self-defense and fighting become somewhat of a byproduct as you progress in your training and you learn to reap the other benefits of martial arts, such as improved fitness, flexibility, weight loss, improved self-esteem and self-confidence. And we find that people that come into the studio and they train and they learn the things like we show you on the television show here, actually apply themselves better out in the real world, such as they progress at their job. They tend to make better grades in schools and so forth. So, and these are some of the other benefits that you can get from training in the martial arts. And we're going to start put more emphasis on that in future shows. It's a great question. Any other questions, please address them to the Academy of Kenpo Karate. So just to kind of recap some of tonight's footage, training with Master Larry Tatum for me over the years was an absolute journey and quite the experience. I have no words to describe the time I spent with that man and what I learned from him. Mr. Parker passed away in 1990, and shortly after that, in 1991, I made my first trip out to California to visit the Tatums, and they took me into their home for the day, and that's where my journey with Larry began. And to this day, it's been quite a relationship. Something that gets lost in time and as in this modern world, as a lot of people don't have that lineage, and I'm certainly proud of it in the friends I've made along the way. Larry is without a doubt the highest authority of Kenpo in the world. Okay, without a doubt, and it was certainly a pleasure to have you. Thank you, Master Tatum, for coming back in 2022 and visiting us on the show again. Okay, as always, we enjoyed Brenda and Rodell for their segment with stretching. Officer Rick, we appreciate your crime prevention tip tonight. And then wrapping things up, we visited with Mark. Mark was he was smart enough to get in on the ground game when it first became popular here in the U.S. And you know, Mark Redding has been a student of mine in Kenpo and the Kenpo art since he was 16 years old. And just as you know, I maintain a relationship with Larry, Mark maintains a relationship with me, and vice versa, because it is a two-way relationship there, and we still collaborate on activities in the martial arts to this day. So it's always a pleasure to go up to Denton, and I'm proud of Mark for what he's done, accomplishing his third-degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's made quite a reputation for himself, not only as an instructor, but as a competitor as well. So we'll have more from his school always on Training to Survive. So anyway, as we said in the start, we need those likes, we need those subscriptions, and we need those shares. Y'all help us out with that. We'll keep this information coming. Episode 11's been great. We look forward to seeing you on episode 12. Y'all hang in there, work on your stuff, work on your techniques, train hard. Y'all have a good week.